So I want you guys to ponder your logo, and I really want you to take it up a notch. The average and easy thing to do is something that is generic. We've talked about this a lot. In project one, we had the first step was drawing out like the every obvious object. So for sleep, it was the moon, it was the stars, it was closed eyes, and then as we progressed in that project, the goal was to get it to a place of innovation, of creativity. And that is so hard to do. Trust me, I'm working on a logo project right now. And to use the letter E in an innovative way, it's so that's my job, right? And so I've been trying all these different things and like iterating, and some of them are horrible, some of them look great. It's so hard. I'm with you, so I understand. So what I wanted to do is show you some really nice logos that perhaps could give you a little bit of an insight into what self-branding even looks like. I mean, some of these are letters, and you can use your initials in this project. I'm fine with that. But I do want you to notice that, like, a monogram can look very, very obvious and very, very boring. So I kind of want you to push out of that. And even like the dove, heart, star, honeybee type thing that a lot of people go to, leaf, flower, yes, you can use those things, but how can you make them creative? Look at that top right hand corner. It's a bird, but it has this hand. I mean, it's a combination. And the left is the same way. It's a bird with that heart and that Swiss Army knife that makes the K. All of these are a little bit more creative than the average. And that's what I kind of want you to focus on. Now, the easiest thing to do as a fashion minor would be a hanger or something. And yeah, but it's so obvious. But to add that bird to the bottom just kicks it up a notch and makes it just feel it's free, right? It's combining these elements to make something exciting and innovative. This isn't just a hanger. This shows that clothes equal freedom to them, or some sort of unleashed, you know, um, gift. So here's some more, and I kind of wanted you to see that some of these are very, very simple, like the little bird, the sparrow on the left, or the sailboat. But what makes them different is that they are not just generic things you find online, in an image trace. Like, look at that E to the far right, with the lightning bolt. So fun, so explosive, so much better than just a lightning bolt. And now, a lightning bolt is one of those symbols that I would say don't use it unless you can use it well. And the heart right below it. Like, having that come together as two pieces of a whole and having like them fit together says so much more than a heart could ever say. I think that when we look at logos where you want to use your initials, let's say, and not all of you have to. I wish that you wouldn't. I don't use my initials typically on a logo whenever I've made my own logo. Now, my last name is Cannon, so I've used a Canon a couple of times, and it never looks good. Like I've tried it a bunch of different ways, and it's funny because it just always looks sort of dumb. I don't know. So some of you guys probably have sweet last names or first names that you could play off of, or initials that look really good together. So you can play with it. But look at that VS. There's two versions of the VS, one in the top left and the middle row bottom. And both of those, they're not just typographic treatments. This is somebody playing with these letters, sketching first and playing with them. Now, here's the thing. I really, really recommend sketching first. First of all, you don't have mastery over Illustrator yet. I don't either. So, sketching is so much easier because you're not married to anything. You can make any shape you want. You can just start over immediately if you screw up. In Illustrator, you're like perfecting these curves and making sure that's all symmetrical, and it's so much harder to do. But sketching it and sketching it again and sketching it again will help open up your mind to a whole bunch of possibilities. So I'm really, really encouraging you to stay on paper as long as you can. And then when you get to the screen, I mean, look at some of these. Like, so innovative, so interesting. Like, look at that second row middle with the head and the eye. Like, it's so much different than a normal head, right? And it's like a light bulb a little bit, and it's interesting, and it's technologically savvy and forward thinking. And the X next to it with the rainbow colors. I mean, so many of these are so excellent. and so beautiful, and uses, like, look at that bottom left logo with the home in the H. It's unexpected. It's like a little hint of a shape. It's not like obvious. It's just clean and interesting. And these say something about these people. I mean, not all of them are people logos, you know, a lot of them are business logos, but they say, I'm innovative, I'm friendly, I'm technological, I'm creative. I mean, you can say so much in a logo. So I really want you to push forward. Now, this one is interesting because you can see that the process. This is like the sketch process. Started with maybe some sort of seal, felt like it was complicated, took out a big dark black part of the seal. Maybe it was too much contrast. Worked on different, should I do a tree? Should I do a leaf? Should I do an acorn? Liked the acorn, took the slash, put it back in the acorn. I mean, worked with deer, worked with the like hawk head. Like, this is what a sketchbook, I mean, mine looks 10 times more insane than this for sure, but like, this is what a sketchbook could look like. It's so, you can try ideas, they can look horrible, and you don't have to have wasted tons of time on the screen, you know? So I want you to ponder this as you're thinking through your logos. Like this one, like softness, dreamscape. I mean, sleep. It's like, what a perfect logo, right? I mean, you look at this and you're like, there's so much intelligence in this, using that negative space to form the clouds while still everybody knows that's a bed. I mean, I just think that there are things like this where if you push yourself, this is your kind of logo. Some of the things I saw in Project 4 are so smart. And if you push yourself and apply it to you, which is actually a lot harder than applying it to a band, like a lot harder, because it's you, you know, and you're showing this nuanced look at yourself. You're showing a little bit of vulnerability, trying to let them inside a little bit. And that's really hard to do sometimes. This one is like equestrian, but strength. You know, there's like this horse head with this muscle. This is really nice. It's that camera, but with the sunset. Because so obviously we use cameras. I did a logo for a photographer not that long ago, and it was such a bad logo because he wanted to use the shutter, but every photographer uses a shutter. And it was such a bummer because I couldn't get him to move past it. Um, but like, this says so much more about location, about like what, like the sunset or sunrise, and what that means to us on like a poetic level. It's really cool to think about. Um, all of these have a vibe about them, whether it's country or the space feel or traditional or you know, approachable. And what will yours be? That's the goal. What will yours be? This is actually a really good shutter within an eye. You know, such a much better use of that. But what will yours be? That's your choice. How can you incorporate yourself in your logo and then apply that across the board on your resume? I mean, how can you use it? How can you use elements of it? What color will you use? This is another shot at another equestrian logo. This one, the door and the leaf. There's so much to be said about you. And maybe you've discovered some things using the Enneagram or your research that maybe you're like, I never knew that. Try to explain some of that in the logo. Try to let pieces of yourself kind of be seen, pieces of your personality that perhaps you shy away from. It'd be really interesting. So experiment with those things, and I'm really excited to see what you come up with.